This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. There's one word to describe what went wrong with the Browns against the Broncos, and I think it was lack of defensive line pressure. I thought there were some standout performances, but I think the lack of defensive line pressure is really one of the things that hurt this team in this game. So let's look at that and get into the film. All right, man. So the main thing in this video that we're going to talk about is just how good JOK played and the lack of pressure that the Browns got in this game. That's going to be my two main points in this breakdown. So forgive me while I pull up my tools here to get you guys this breakdown that you need. But yeah, we're going to talk about six a lot, and we're going to talk about these four guys just not really doing much in this game, unfortunately. All right, so let's get it started. Only got 15 plays, so this should be short. 17, my bad. Probably have some offensive plays in here too. Okay, so a little handoff here. You see JOK just crash down that gap. Let's see it real quick. Slow down. I love how he crashes with this guard and then just stays parallel, right? Like just finds a good way to anchor so he doesn't get washed and drives through the contact and gets to the running back. That's a tremendous play by JOK. Look, he put the guard on his ass. Look at that, like JOK, the guy who was criticized for not being big enough to play linebacker. Look what he does to this guard. He puts him on his ass. It's about angles. And I think that's the thing. When people get fixated with certain dimensions, right? And they say it has to be this and it has to be that. That to me is a tall tale sign of somebody who is trying to simplify the game to eliminate the nuances that they don't quite understand. And when you get so fixated on height, so fixated on weight, and you don't ask yourself, okay, well, does he play in a way or is he good enough with his angles to play in a way where that doesn't matter? And this is what I mean, right? This is a player taking advantage of his angles, knowing his angles, and saying, hey, I could find an angle to get you. Because you want to know what something else? Ray Lewis was an undersized linebacker for his time. And if you ever hear Ray Lewis talk about the beginning of his career and what he had to figure out was angles. He said, hey, it was about angles. I wanted it to be about pure brute strength. It's not about that in the NFL. It's about angles, figuring out those angles. This is what he means. You ain't got to be 500 pounds to walk through that line. You can be 225 and do it. When you're pressured. Okay, so this is what I mean by the defensive line. When Russ was pressured, he wasn't good. He just flat sucked when he was pressured in this game. He wasn't good overall. He only had 134 yards. And even the passes he made, it weren't really spectacular looking. I really don't think Russ played well in this game. But what you did allow in this game was Russ to hold the ball and be relatively unbothered. Yeah, you have a person here or there, but you weren't really pressuring him in this game. And I think that was one of the biggest problems in this game, is that the Browns could not get consistent pressure on Russell Wilson. He had a 56 Pro Football Focus grade when under pressure. He also had, what was his time to throw in this game? That'd be interesting to see. His time to throw, he had under pressure, a time to throw of 4 seconds. Not blitz, a time to throw of 3.6 seconds. Ridiculous. Can't happen. Look here. You pressure him, he's not that good. Right? You bull rush him up the middle. You get some pressure in his face. He throws a very bad football. You pressure Russ, he's not that good. The offensive line did a good job for Denver, making sure he doesn't get pressure, but you pressure him, he's not that good. You allowed this to happen to yourself. Same thing again. When you pressured him, he didn't kill you. Right? He's doing all this stuff, line of scrimmage. You get some pressure, you force him to throw under duress. You're able to break that up. He doesn't put zip on that ball anymore. But in a play like this, where you get light pressure, if anything, right? You don't really rush him. You give him about 3-4 seconds to throw the football. Of course, somebody's going to break open. The other issue for the Browns is another simple thing. Speed gonna whip your ass when you run man. Speed gonna whip your ass when you run man. Speed in the slot, speed on the gut. Speed is gonna whip your ass when you play man if you don't get pressure. So while these corners are good, and I think they're all good, I think Greg Newsom's still good, I think that Martin Emerson's still good, I think that Denzel Ward is still good, there's no substitute for speed. If you let a quarterback get 4 seconds to throw, and you have somebody who's moderately fast, they're going to get open. You see right here? There's nothing Greg Newsome can really do about that. You got to get home. Got to get more pressure than this. Can't do this to your corners. See, there's no real rush for him to throw that ball. No real threat. Never was afraid of being sacked that whole throw. It's a nice play by JOK and Miles, I believe. Or is this another not pressure? Wow. Yeah, this is just Russ missing a throw. I think this is the JOK Miles play. Yep. It's just really just Miles. He hits a free run. Does a good job there. I thought, is that Martin Emerson on the other side that did a really good job? Martin Emerson, Mike Ford. It's Mike Ford. Good job on Mike Ford, too. JOK again here on this play. You can watch 6. Get in there. Drop back in coverage. Stay. And then this is where it gets important. Sees the ball, punches the ball, forces a fumble. Huge play. Good way to get on that, Alex Wright, and then snag it away. And then roll out that pile. Great technique there. Great technique. See how he just has all this time? He's not really rushed to throw it. Like, yeah, he's moving around, but that's not real pressure, right? Like this, he's not really, like he's kind of moving because he wants to make something shake. You're not forcing him out of anything. You're not getting him out of his game. You're just sitting back there and letting Russ do whatever he wants. And you let your wide receivers run around in man coverage. Well, this is in zone. But you let wide receivers run around long enough with a veteran quarterback, they're going to find a way to get open. Boom. Story of the game, man. Story of the game. Just could not get pressure. And when you didn't get pressure, you didn't make plays. This one right here, Martin Emerson got caught. Watch 23 here. He's supposed to be hovering. Yeah, he's probably supposed to be chopping down, breaking down right here, and choosing. But he shoots this gap thinking that running back has the ball. And it ends up being a disastrous decision. Like, boom, out the play. You're lucky to stop that. Got to be more focused. And just wasn't a very focused game from the defense. What am I going to say here? No pressure. Yeah. Got away with it. Got away with it because they called a bullshit pass interference on Cortland Sutton. That should have been caught. But no pressure. He's going to make a throw. You play Matt Stafford next week. If you don't pressure Matt Stafford, the same exact thing's going to happen. I don't care who you got back there in the secondary, how good you feel about your corners. It does not matter. Puka Nacua going to go off. if you don't get pressure. You know, whoever they got playing for them, they're going to go off. Got to get pressure. That's paramount. Got to get pressure. By the way, speed in the slot's also kicking our ass. Watch that for Puka, right? They're going to put Puka, the LA Rams. Oh, yeah, this is pretty nice. I'm getting better at this. The LA Rams are going to put Puka Nacua right here all game. He already does that. He plays in slot. The reason they're going to put Puka in this slot is because look what speed in the slot does to this defense. One, it gets you a one-on-one matchup with our worst cover corner, Mike Ford. Now, when that's Greg Newsome, you feel all right about that. But when it's Mike Ford, you don't feel all right about that. So now that affects how the Browns can blitz because we don't want to leave Mike Ford on the island, right? We're not as confident running man, right? So it kind of affects the Browns' approach. We just need Denzel Ward to get healthy is what I'm saying. Because look what speed in the slot does. Boom. They run that over. You can get Mike Ford over here. Then you can run something over top here, and you're easy. So watch for that. Look, Sean McVay's going to run a ton of that. Ton of this stuff. Ton of these rub routes. Ton of it. Ton of these crossers. Ton of them. Ton of them. Puka Nacua. Ton of them. Really need Denzel to get healthy for this game. And is that Martin Emerson? Who got cooked there? Yeah, Martin. Yeah, you want that to be Greg on that side. I really wouldn't be surprised if they switched it up a little bit next week. That could have been a huge play. But again, you don't get pressure. Well, they did a good job getting pressure there. But you don't get pressure on a play like this. You just let it develop. And thankfully, you got pressure on this one because if he was able to make that throw, that would have been a touchdown. So good thing you got pressure. And that's why it's important to get pressure. Because if you don't get pressure, shit like that hits. So good job by Za'Darius. But you can't let stuff like that develop. That's time for these routes to develop downfield are teams' only shot to move the ball against the Browns. And then you just can't let it happen. You got to get pressure. Whether Miles is out there or not, you got to get pressure. More pressure than this. That's what you want to see. You want to see more of that. Okay, JOK, these next two plays, being really good at football. Look at that shit, man. Like, he just shot out a cannon. Where was he even at to start? Okay, he was on the line of scrimmage, and then he just shoots out a cannon on this. It's a great job there. Huge stop. And then just, again, huge run stop there. JOK was amazing in this game. And I thought Obo had another big stop in this game as well, but this is JOK. Yeah, Obo, watch 54, another big stop in this game. That was huge to force a field goal. And then this is the one that pretty much ended it. They held Myles Garrett so egregiously on this one. Look at this shit. Like, look at that hold. Good job making him run the arc despite the hold, but that's a crazy hold. But that hold creates a really clean pocket. And again, time, seconds, time. You give them enough time, somebody's going to beat man, somebody's going to get open. And that's what happens. So going into this game versus LA, three places where I think the Browns defense needs to focus. Speed at wide receiver, speed in the slot. Getting pressure so these long developing man beaters don't get ran on you or don't have much success. You need Denzel Ward to get healthy so you can upgrade your positioning in the slot. And you need to get pressure, because the same exact thing that happened against the Broncos will happen to you against the Rams if you do not get pressure on Matthew Stafford. I'm saying it now. It will happen if you don't do it. But that's my thoughts on this. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Y'all have a good day. Have an even better night. Peace.